what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stream. As I am streaming currently on Storyworks again because it's fun and yeah. Well, let me find stream chat. Where? Oh, here it is. Okay. No, don't say. Go right there. Oh, yeah, yes. Go to the side. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now I guess we'll hop into the game. So let's do this. Very word intro. Ugh. Here we are. Okay. So now we are in this game. It's called Storyworks. Pretty sure that we need to get this ready. So set the mixture. Don't turn the magnetors on yet. Actually, I'm going to grab. Let's see. I don't know. Hello, Dan. Thank you for joining our stream. Guess we're flying with the helicopter. And guys, I'll be right back in a minute. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm back. And let's get into this. So, I guess we'll go in through here. It's like no way to close this door. You have to like strategize it. I did it. Okay, main power, landing lights, backlights, nav lights, searchlights, cabin heating, and okay. There goes our collective. Okay, collective up. And we'll have a set altitude of 103. Okay. It doesn't say what our call sign is. If it did, I would actually use it. So the tail nevers. Okay. It's an SAR, so I could say search and rescue unit. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Now let's go maintain some altitude. Let's go 244. I think I see the airport island. Is that the airport? That's the airport. So we're going to right there. Boop bop boom. Okay. Now let's fly our way over there. And once we land, we'll look at this island. This is just a simple airport island. Is this new? Wait, is this new? I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this. Okay, now I'm manually flying right now. Let's see. Oh. Got to make my approach seem more adjustable. I've never seen this place before, honestly. Didn't know this place existed. And we have coming for my Nice landing. Be a touchdown. Okay. Backlight, landing lights, cabin heat, main power. Yep. So I'm going to make it day. And guys, be right back. Sorry guys. Just have a lot of things going on. Looks like there's a button that I have to press. That's door. Door. Okay. Look, this looks interesting. This looks like a small area you would load in small planes. I guess if you ever seen this before, this is a J3 Piper Cub. It's not supposed to go as fast as it does, but it does, so why is it? What? Okay, maybe. Oh, yes. And there. There we go. It's really hard not to use WASD because it's my other controls, but jet maneuvers. I'm going to end the stream soon because I actually plane literally shut off. That was weird. Okay. Oh, I clicked 1. That's 1. Whoa! That was lucky. Or not. I failed. Yeah, I failed. Let's see. Oh, it's too big. Do you want to play Roblox together? Give me a minute. Let's see. Hang on, Damien. I can give you a call on Discord. I'm gonna open Discord right now, Damien, so if you want to, call me, that'll be perfect. Let's let my Discord open. And I'll set OBS. Oh wait, no, scene. Nope. Okay. And this Discord. Okay. Discord is opening. Hello. Hello, Damien. Damien?
Yep.
What do you want to play?
Well, my sister's computer does not want to load, so I'm gonna put on my iPad.
Okay. Let me just set the stream up so that it'll show Roblox.
Okay. By the way, if I just stop and that means I'm eating.
Ah. Okay.
Or just say I'm on my way over. I'll be there in 5-10 minutes.
Actually, hang on. Give me a minute. I might have to go.
I'll play Bloxburg.
Sure. I'll go in the game. Alright. Just waiting.
Hopefully you're gonna see the game, because I just
It sounded like before. Oh, that's right.
Waiting for my... There we go. Okay. The stream is now showing the game. Okay. Let's play.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Probably.
You almost do a stethoscope.
Because my grandfather's using our thing, I know. As you can tell.
These guys, they got stethoscopes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Here.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go get headphones. Then you can just hear me.
Yeah. Okay. I literally just loaded in this game.
Random plot.
Yay, money. Why is the game playing so loud?
Okay. Alright, matey. I don't even know what my house looks like.
No. I have a lot of house bills and... Oh, apparently watching TV takes your energy down now.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there's a very big boost there.
Because it calms you down.
Okay. Sleep in the bed. Linda. Hello, Linda.
I don't know what I was doing.
Welcome to the stream, Linda. I think I'm saying that right.
Just like, I think I'm saying that right. Please tell me in chat if I'm saying it right.
Why is OBS? No. Come on, OBS. You already pooped. Hello. Oh, what?
Yo, I got a moped.
Nice.
Just a moped, that's it. Just a moped.
Apparently it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a store right now.
Oh.
So if I undo this, what do we have that I can make into a store?
Can't. There we go. I just have to use OBS like that. No. Kick me out.
Now if I cut off build, I need...
Way newborn. You know, Linda, I have the opportunity to delete your comments.
Not enough space. What?
For what?
To make a wall. There's not enough space.
To make a wall.
Yeah. So I just got rid of my entire floor. Whatever. It's like, oops. Whatever.
Noise.
Where are you?
I'm in my house. It's a big red one now. It's
4.
I clicked a random button. Why is there a random Spanish person like literally standing by my house? Okay. Hang on, let me do something. Oh, that one. That's it. Okay. Let me go into that.
I'm surprised you even said anything
Me?
when I, yeah.
Of course I did. Let me click on this. Channel. Oh,
Then,
kicked me out of the game. I'm just doing something right now. Did you see what I just did?
no, I'm not watching it.
Oh,
I was, and then my sister's computer decided to die, and it didn't even tell me that.
oh, I was just doing something and somebody was doing
It's all
stuff.
gone. My dad has lost.
Did you know I have the ability to put your your channel in a timeout for my channel so I can make it so you can't say anything for a certain amount of time?
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's helpful. Okay, I'm back in the game again. Okay, I'm finally in the game. Need to find you.
Destination.
You think you can get to my moped? No.
I will. Pretty sure you're near this room.
Is there anybody in here? Yeah. And I said, my God.
Did you find my big house thing?
No, I'm building.
Ah.
You'll find me.
Yeah, I'm coming.
How do you spell motion sensor?
I have no idea. Hello.
motion.
I'm gonna end the stream off there because we can just play.
Yeah.
Goodbye, streams.